Coming up next on Insights on PBS Hawaii, facing our mortality. Aloha and welcome to Insights on PBS Hawaii. I'm Daryl Huff from Hawaii News Now. Until just a few years ago, talking publicly about life-threatening or terminal illness was uncommon. But today we understand that those who are seriously ill have an important voice and a unique perspective about what it means to face our mortality. Tonight's guests have all been diagnosed with a serious illness and are here to talk with us about their life-changing diagnosis and the journey that's followed. Please share with us your questions and comments about tonight's show by calling 973-1000 or 800-238-4847 if you're on a neighbor island. You can also watch Insights streamed live at pbshawaii.org. Just click on the title of tonight's show or find us on Twitter at PBS Hawaii. Now to our guests for tonight's show. Kirk Matthews greeted viewers every weekday morning for 14 years as an anchor for their morning news program at KHON. Before his tenure at KHON, Mr. Matthews worked as a reporter for KGMB, and throughout his career, he covered senior and caregiver issues. Mr. Matthews is now battling stage 4 lung cancer and undergoing chemotherapy. Daniel Gray has been in the nightlife business for more than a decade as an owner, bartender, and promoter. In 2012, doctors diagnosed him with stage 4 cancer of the ethmoid sinus cavity. Following the diagnosis, Mr. Gray tells us he underwent chemotherapy and radiation, and the response was a 99% tumor reduction. A year later, he says the cancer has reemerged, this time in his brain, and he continues to fight that cancer. And Christa Wittmier is a marketing director, local columnist, and DJ who was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer in May of 2015. By September, she says, scans revealed that she was cancer-free. She's now sharing her story to inspire others battling cancer. Entertainer Jimmy Borges, who has inoperable stage 4 lung cancer, told us he planned to be here, but he said today that the reality of my situation is I feel different day to day. This morning I went to the hospital and was given morphine oral solution to help me breathe, and I'm breathing better, but unfortunately the medication slows down my thinking. He tells us he'll be watching. And that brings up an interesting point right away. Kirk Matthews, day to day, it must be quite a roller coaster.
Roller coaster is a nice way to put it. Excuse my voice is part of the process. First of all, let me just say to Jimmy, hang in there, my friend. We miss you tonight, and we wish you the best, of course. Jimmy and I are battling essentially the same thing. A bit about his story. Folks may or may not know he had been diagnosed with liver cancer about 5 years ago, got a reprieve, and has since then done very well, but just lately has made it known that he has stage 4 lung cancer. And so it's a battle that he and I are fighting together.
Now, he's made a decision to let things run their course.
Yeah, he went through a lot of medical procedures while he faced the liver cancer and again with the lung cancer, but he has decided at this point, from what I understand, to, as you say, let things run their course. He's not taking any remedial action now. So that's one way that we differ, at least at this point.
And then let me switch over to Daniel Gray. What is it like? You run a business. What's it like with your health being up and down all the time?
It's tough, you're unable to plan anything, especially with my business. My job is to take care of the events, planning the events, booking the events, working with promoters, working out details with producers and stuff like that. And a lot of this work requires meeting with them. And I'll set a meeting for Tuesday afternoon, and then I'll wake up on Tuesday feeling like crap, and I can't meet them. And it's tough because it makes me and my business look really unprofessional. And the reality of it is, like Kirk said, it's a roller coaster, and there's no way to ever predict what you're going to feel like tomorrow or even an hour from now.
How do you keep up your spirits when you have that day-to-day pressure?
Well, I just try and wake up and try and focus on what I do have to be thankful for. Today, for example, I woke up this morning. I usually have chemotherapy every Thursday. The current chemotherapy I'm going through, I get 1 week off per month. So I woke up today, I don't know if my body indirectly knew it was Thursday, but I just woke up feeling down, feeling depressed, I laid in bed for a while, and I got up, stared in the mirror, and I was like, I really got to get myself together today so I can be a little bit productive. And then it hit me, hey, today's my week, today's my Thursday of the month that I don't have chemotherapy, and that kind of segued into having a positive day.
And I'm sure you're excited about being on TV, too.
I am.
Christa, how do you deal with that up and down? We were talking earlier about how you had multiple sessions of chemo, and the way they do that kind of automatically means it's up and down, right?
It's hard. It's really hard to plan because you don't really know what's going to happen or how you're going to feel, and every single day can be completely different. So you really have to just take it day by day, and hopefully people understand. Try not to commit to too much.
And Chris's point is well taken, and every body is different, how their body reacts to the chemo. I had 4 sessions, just completed the 4th session, and interestingly enough, and again, everybody's different, I would feel great after the 3rd day of it. And then gradually the effects wear off, and then on a Wednesday you're supposed to do something with somebody after you finished up last Friday, and you kind of go, man, I'm not up to it. Mm-hmm. And Christa's right. You have to hope that you have a group, a network that understands that. Daniel's point, you asked Daniel about how you face up to it, and thank goodness for whatever network you manage to have around you to offer their support and understand.
Daniel, with that, when you tell somebody I can't come, or say they run into you and they look at your eye and they say, oh, how do you tell people what your condition is who you don't know, and what kind of responses do you get?
It's really weird because I meet people all the time in my business, obviously, DJs traveling, whatever, and I see them looking at my eye. It's obvious there's something wrong with me, but I don't want to be that guy that comes out and say, hey, by the way, I have brain cancer. It makes the situation uncomfortable. Nobody wants to talk about it,
It's a bit awkward.
Yeah, it gets really awkward. So my route has been to just get it out there from the get-go. And then usually once they realize that I'm not uncomfortable talking about it, and we don't even have to talk about it because that's not what we're here for anyway. And then usually it's smooth sailing after that. I just get it out of the way right off the bat.
Christa, is that also your strategy?
I didn't really try to not look like a cancer patient when I was going through chemo. Everybody wants to try to help you look good, and I got some really great wigs as gifts, and it just never felt right. I felt better just because I felt like they were more appreciative that I was even out and about, and to be like, So it wasn't something I tried to hide.
It's something that brings up an interesting point, though, is people wanted to give you gifts. They wanted to do something for you, and they give you wigs. And I know for some women they might love having wigs, but what should people be doing in these kind of circumstances?
I think the hardest thing is when somebody says, let me know what I can do, because the last thing you want to do is ask anybody for help. That's a really hard thing to do.
Both of your co-panelists are nodding vigorously.
Yeah, you don't want to, and so if somebody says, oh, let me know if I can do anything, it's kind of like, all right, I love you, thank you, but I think my coworkers who would bring me avocados from their trees or oranges, or just knew that I was eating clean and brought me food from their garden was huge. People who just came over and said, do you need me to take your laundry out? Or they would bring me organic soup, drive me to the doctor. I started a Sign Up Genius. There's a website you can use to have all your friends sign up because I didn't have family. So people they're like, how can I help? Or it was just a little bit easier to say, okay, do this. But the ones who just took initiative and just did things was really great.
Daniel, how about your perspective on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because on one side, you appreciate the support so much, and I was overwhelmed at support when I found out I had cancer, and I put it out there. Just like Christa said, everybody was coming out of the woodwork, hey, what can I do for you? And it's tough because you get torn between, I'm so independent, I don't need help from anybody, and then you have those days where you do need help, but there's just so much coming in from so many different angles, and you don't want people to feel that you don't appreciate the help, but at the same time, it's hard to explain to them that too much is not a good thing because you can get overwhelmed and buried in it.
Well, being single, though, too, people must have thought, oh, you don't have family here, I have to pitch in more.
Somewhat. I do have some family here. Fortunately, my brother moved back from on the mainland, just got out of the Marines, but I do have family on Kauai, so they come and visit me all the time, at least once a month. I get my sisters or my mom up here.
That's nice. And Kirk Matthews, speaking of family, your wife, Linda Coble, certainly kicked into high gear in support of you.
Yes, she did. Yes, she has. Yes, she did. No, without her, I wouldn't be here tonight. I don't know where I would be. brief history. I was diagnosed on November 9th. The ultimate diagnosis was on November 9th.
2014?
No.
This
2015?
Yes.
Really, only that recently? I didn't
Yes.
realize it was that recent.
Yes.
Weren't you sick before? Or?
No.
No, really? Wow.
She was.
Oh, okay.
She had bad ulcer just exactly a year before I got diagnosed with this. But when the doctor said, you have stage 4 lung cancer on November 9th, I said, and he said, I recommend you go into chemo right now, immediately. And I said, well, what if we wait? And he said, then I'll reserve a space in hospice for you, because that's where you're going. And so Linda Coble, my darling wife, grabbed my thigh and said, we'll take chemo.
Give her the choice.
We'll take chemo. She's been a rock, an absolute rock. And I couldn't do this, I couldn't be here, I couldn't be anywhere without her. But in addition to all that, a huge network of friends and people I don't even know offering to help in whatever way they can, cards and letters. And believe me, it makes a difference. Even just people saying, I'm holding a good thought for you, makes a huge difference. If you have the crummiest day and you know somebody is holding out a good thought for you, it can turn the corner.
And you know, when we talked a little bit about sort of inappropriate things people might say, but the fact that they're willing to say something is still contributes a little bit to the spirit.
And like Daniel, I mean, it's hard. I was on television here for 30 years. It's hard to hide that it's me, Kirk. I've got cancer. Now let's talk about the Super Bowl or something else.
Yeah, where's the Anchorman hair, right?
Yeah, it's in a closet somewhere with all my hats. So,
Daniel, let me ask you. Kirk brought up the diagnosis process. What was that like for you when you realized what was going on? And
well, it was absolutely terrifying. I'm 34 years old. The last thing in my mind is cancer. I went in because I had these just terrible, terrible headaches, and they scanned my head. Hey, there's something in there. We're gonna have to do a biopsy. And this whole time, I'm just in denial. I'm like, it's not cancer. I'm 34. How can I have cancer? I surf every day. I eat pretty healthy. I don't eat McDonald's. And then the biopsy came back, and it was cancer. And I have no cancer in my family, also. So my odds are really slim. But I was just absolutely terrified. I didn't know what to do. I had nowhere to turn. I didn't know who to talk to. You got doctors pulling you in different directions. You got messages coming from friends that suddenly turn into doctors telling you, oh, my nephew's friend's dog's friend did this and it worked, So it's just, there's so much information and so much bogus information. You're getting pulled in so many different ways. It's really overwhelming, a terrible situation to be in.
And that's when you're talking to people. When you're by yourself, what are you going through?
Well, I just sat there and I don't even know. I mean, how do you come to terms with the fact that you might be dying soon? My doctor told me I had 3 months. At the time I was 32. I had my whole life ahead of me, or so I thought I did. And then suddenly, all these things that I had planned to do, there's so much I want to do, so many places I want to go, people I want to see, and experience to have, and all of a sudden you have an expiration date on all of that. It was devastating.
And then since that time, how has your frame of mind changed?
Well, cancer, when I was told I had cancer, I saw it as a death sentence, and I think most people do. And now, when I look at it, I realize that I'm a lot more hopeful about it. I realize that cancer is not a death sentence. It's something that you can learn to live with. It makes life difficult, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to be able to do everything you want to do. And I was able to make that shift of mentality because, like Kirk said, I have a really good support, really good network of close friends and family that stepped up and kind of kept my spirits up when I was feeling down. And now I look at it from that angle instead of the I'm going to die angle.
Christa, would you mind taking us through your experience in that regard?
Mine was exactly the same as Daniel. Daniel and I are friends, and when we found out about his diagnosis, everybody was so shocked. So a few years later, I'm being told the same thing. I was like, I still don't believe it, actually. It's just, you never really can accept it, because it's like what you're thinking, and how you feel and what you're being told, it's all kind of different things at this point. You're being pulled in different directions. But
now, what was your key support system for you?
I actually didn't really have anything or anybody, so I thought. I was kind of completely withdrawn. And I had a couple of friends stepped up and just checked on me and came over to my house and said, I'm going to take you to the doctor, and took notes. And one of my closest friends, she'll be on the show next week, she lived behind an MD naturopath doctor who does Eastern and Western medicine, and she was able to talk to him every night about my diagnosis and get some options of what I should do, because I had no idea what to do.
So
I had a hard time telling my family. I didn't.
Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
I had a hard time. I didn't even tell my sister. My mom wound up telling my sister, and I don't know, because I kind of wanted to have my mom. I was planning to have her come out here to help me pack up my house, and then I was going to tell her then that I was dying. So it was like such a weird thing now that I think about it, because I got through it, and now I can't believe I'm even telling you this.
Kirk, let me give Christa a little break. Your own, it sounded like you wanted a little bit more time just to think about it. Linda was saying, no, let's go do something.
Well,
what was spinning in your head?
Denial, absolute denial. I didn't feel I thought I had laryngitis. And toward the end of October, I wanted to sing Happy Birthday to this little kid. I love to sing, right? And so I'm trying to sing Happy Birthday of all things. I'm trying to sing to him, and my voice is cracking. Next day, it wouldn't go back, and I thought, well, laryngitis. So test after test after test, and then by early in November, you get that stage 4 thing. And I happen to know a little bit about a lot of things, and that's one of the things.
4 is not the number you want to hear.
And so, trying to process that in the doctor's office, I need to, Lynn and I need to talk about this. We need to figure out what's next. And he said, when he meant immediately, he meant it was on a Monday, and he meant Wednesday. You start just like that. And so we did, and I'm very grateful. And this is off the subject a little bit, but
that's fine.
I have had my work done, the procedures done here in Honolulu, and we were talking about you get advice from everybody about everything, and it's all appreciated. It doesn't go unappreciated, right. But you go with what you feel is right for you at the time, and at that time, I had other things done at Straub. I've always said Straub. I had other things done here locally, and I'm very happy with
what was
the
available
local care. But everybody is different, and so even people watching should know that they have to make the decision based on their circumstances, their personality, their choices, their network, and this is what worked out best for me.
That's right on point with one of our viewers calling in. How did the panelists decide which treatment options were best? Daniel, let me ask you, did you pretty much throw yourself on the mercy of the first doctor you saw, or did you shop around, or how did you do that?
I did it first, and I think that is one of the biggest mistakes that people make, is we just automatically go with what the doctor tells us to do right off the bat. The first doctor, and that first doctor normally is going to have a very one-sided opinion about cancer. Cancer is such a diverse, multifaceted disease, and it's easy for people to look at it like, okay, I'm going to just do whatever my doctor tells me to do. So I did it first, and then later on down the road, when my cancer came back, I started exploring other options, getting second opinions, meeting naturopaths through Christa, and I started putting together pieces of what I thought would work best for me. Like Kirk said, you gotta find what you think will work for your body and your particular type of cancer.
Did you also, I'm sure, heard from, we're now meeting lots of other people who had been going through cancer who also had advice for you. That decision-making process, it's got to be very difficult for a 35-year-old who's probably hadn't been sick more than a couple days in your life, right?
Yeah, it is, and fortunately we have the internet. I did, countless hours of research. I'm a very suspicious person when it comes to miracle cures that don't sound right to me, but I always go online, and there's a lot of information online. You just got to dig for it, but there's science behind everything.
Now, Christa, you also went through that same process. Did you shop oncologists or do anything like that?
Not when you have the diagnosis that I do. You don't really have a lot of time to, oncologists are really busy, so even just to get the appointment with the one, I think I waited a month. So, and who knows?
The worst month of your life, right?
It was hard. Yeah, it was difficult. That was the worst month of my life so far. But because I was just so lucky to have people around me who knew to ask questions to different people, I was able to get recommendations for different types of doctors. So I had my medical team, like, I had my surgeon, my oncologist, but I also had 3 naturopaths that I was seeing.
Did you guys, and I'll ask you about this later, Kirk, you had Linda there helping interpret things, but did you guys have people that would go with you to the doctor and say, he just said this?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And why do you have to have that?
Well, partially because, like Christa said, when I found out I had cancer the first time, they gave me 3 months. They're like, so that's one of the reasons I just went right off the bat with the first doctor, because I didn't have any time to really shop around. But when it came back, I did have a little bit of time to play with, so that's when I kind of took the time to look around and see what else was out there. But I had one really close friend who, as soon as he found out I had cancer, he said, you're moving out of your house, you're moving in with me, I'm not going to charge you rent, I'm going to take care of you. He took me to the hospital every day, took me to all my treatments, and translated for me, and wrote notes down for me, and made calls to his connections in the medical field.
Yeah, I wonder, Kirk, you've sat through it. What does it sound like when a doctor's talking to you about this kind of stuff when you're just sitting there?
Like bees buzzing. You don't hear what he's saying. Once he says the initial thing, you don't hear anything. Thank God Linda was there. She's writing stuff down. She's gone to all of the sessions, and they're long. You can verify that. It takes a long time for chemo sessions, and she'll sit there, delete phone messages, do her business. But yeah, without somebody there, it's not translator is not the right word, although I guess it is, because you'll get home and they'll say, now do you remember what the doctor said? No. She said, thank goodness I wrote it down here.
Exactly. So, let me throw this out, because we explored this a little bit, but I think this is the theme of the show. And so Lonnie from Manoa asks, how has their diagnosis changed how they view their mortality? Or has it? And let me try you, Christa. I think that's the toughest question for you, since you're still saying, I don't really, this is about thinking about death. It's I hate to use the D word, but I mean, it must got to come to your mind.
Oh, of course it does. Yeah. I mean, I felt like somebody just grabbed my collar and said, "Hold on, something's not right. You have to change what you're doing now." And I feel still pretty strongly about that. There's a reason why, that it happened, because it doesn't run in my family either. It's completely environmental.
But I mean, in terms of the question, I think is, before you had this diagnosis, you saw your whole life in front of you, and then when you had it, all of a sudden, the fact that every life, is a death sentence in a way, but your time might have been shorter. How did that affect you, and what did you think about that?
That's a hard one for me, but I know now that, every single moment that I'm alive, like right now, is the precious gift, and who knows? I could go through 12 rounds of chemo and then get in a car accident on the H1. You don't know what's going to happen with your life, and you just have to take a leap of faith and believe that there is a plan, and it feels right when you start working towards what you were meant to do. And I think that's maybe what happened with me, is I was maybe working towards what I wasn't supposed to be doing, and because now that I'm changing my life a little bit, just dedicating it to helping others, everything just feels so right.
Which is part of the reason I think all of us are here tonight, is to let people know, like you said, no one gets out alive. So think about what matters. Think about what's important. Think about who's important. Because we all tread off this mortal coil sooner or later, some sooner sadder, this more sadly than others.
Had you thought about that much before November?
Not the end of days, no.
Yeah.
But you sure do have a lot of time to think about it now.
Daniel, you're a strapping guy, right? And you were in this business that's basically kind of a pleasure business, and then all of a sudden there's this dark cloud. How did you deal with that?
Yeah, like I said, I'm 32 years old. Obviously we all know we're going to die someday, but for me, death was something over there, way over there. It's not something that you address. Especially like you said in my industry, it's not something that is discussed, And it was weird to have that suddenly shoved in front of my face, like, hey, guess what? You might only have this very small amount of time left. And what that did, going on what Christa said, like it really has changed my perspective. Now every little moment is a blessing, just the tiniest things. Today I walked out of my house and I looked across the stream and I saw a mango tree flowering, and I appreciated it 10 times more than I normally would have, just because I'm like, hey, I get to have mangoes for one more year. Just the little things, they matter so much that we tend to forget and take for granted, and they're suddenly become important again.
And then what about ambition? What happens to ambition? I mean, you were an ambitious guy, right?
Well, a lot of the, I guess what happened was a lot of my ambitions switched from one focus to another focus. Like there was
alive.
Yeah, staying alive and helping people was a big one. I was ambitious toward financial goals, and then it hit me all of a sudden, like, hey, does this really matter? Like, what's really going to happen with this wealth that I accumulate after I die? It's pointless. It doesn't mean anything. So I'm ambitious in different ways now.
I was thinking of a song when we were preparing for this show that said, "Live like you were dying," jump on a bucking bronco and jump out of an airplane and all that. Is that bucket list a real thing to people who actually do face this issue, Kirk?
I don't know that it's a bucket list necessarily, as it is.
We've got a bug flying around,
Yeah.
and people are wondering why that's.
That's a good part of the discussion.
From the great beyond.
If he gets any closer, he's going to find out about mortality.
Mortality. It's not a bucket list necessarily. There are things that I'd still like to do, places I'd still like to go, but it's more along the lines of what Daniel said. And you asked me this before, did I ever think about it? No, I didn't think about that, but every morning when I wake up, my eyes open and I say, hey, thanks, I got one more. Here we go. And whatever the day brings, that's good enough for me. Now, even more so. When the eyes open up, we just look forward to that day and what good we can do for people around us, for ourselves, and make sure that we clean up after ourselves.
Jimmy Borges promised to watch, and he's watching. He sent us a note right on this point. His comment is, do you want to chase life or do you want to live life? From Jimmy Borges.
Cool.
Yeah.
How nice. And what does that mean to you guys, that kind of chase life or live life?
It's sort of rhetorical, but you were started down that road. I have a friend, we play golf together. His name's Tommy. And talking about, I've got to make sure, I've got a stash of money and everything. He said, oh, you're going to be the richest guy in the graveyard.
So true.
So it becomes less and less about that and more about people and touching and breathing life, living life, not chasing it.
Or how can I make somebody else's life better today? Instead of how can I make a bunch of money for myself so I can buy a bunch of things for myself. It's like, well, how can I impact someone else to improve their situation? And the more that you do that, then it just snowballs. It's like all you want to do is just make people happy.
Well, and you folks are actually working together on a project along those lines. Chris, why don't you tell us about that?
It's the Aloha Cancer Project, and we launched February 6th. We're going to basically just be a resource for what we didn't know was out there when we were first diagnosed. We didn't have anything. We didn't have too many resources, but we're going to compile everything that we've done in just like a nice, easy way. I don't know, I feel like you can probably tell us better.
You're doing well. Go ahead.
Well, we talked about it, and like I said earlier, when you're first diagnosed, that first week is just absolutely terrifying. And there's no comprehensive resource that isn't bigoted, and we want to provide that. We want to say these are your options. Don't just give up. It's not a death sentence. There's all these different options, all these different paths you can take, and more importantly, these paths don't necessarily contradict each other. In fact, sometimes they help each other. You can go see a naturopath that does something that might fight the cancer, but it also eases the side effects from chemotherapy, and all of these different things that just aren't out there. There's just nothing out there, and we want to provide that. And then the second part of it is, because we both have so much experience in the nightlife industry, we want to help by assisting people promoting and producing fundraisers. For us, it was easy. She DJs, I own a club. I just put the word out, sent out a mass email, and I got 300 volunteers. But for your average person who isn't part of this scene, it's really intimidating to put together a fundraiser. There's a lot of moving parts, so we want to help out with that too.
That sounds great. I'm going to take a break and remind our audience that tonight we're talking about facing our mortality. We'd like to hear from you, so please call, email, or tweet your questions and comments. Call 973-1000 or 800-238-4847 if you're calling from a neighbor island. I'd like to follow up a little bit on what you're saying there, Daniel, about the sense that some of your advice was biased. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think that people that are educated in the medical field, they tend to go with their field of specialization. My neurosurgeon wanted to do brain surgery. My radiation oncologist wanted to do radiation. My oncologist wanted to do chemotherapy. You know, and it's just, it's easy for someone who is so specialized to only see things one way, and to not open their mind to other potential forms of treatment or different paths to take. So I think it's important for, and that's one of the main goals that we have, is to let people know that those options are out there. Because those doctors won't come out and say, oh, by the way, you can also try this. You should try acupuncture. You should try massage. They won't. It just doesn't occur to them. And that's not coming down on them at all, because they are really good at what they do.
And they have the best intentions.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And Kirk, you know, as a journalist, I can relate to what you must have gone through to a certain extent. There must have been, you know, here you are, two journalists. There must have been a lot of analysis and take a look at what were your impressions of how the medical system handles this kind of issue? Did you get that feeling too, like, I have this specialist wants me to do this because that's their specialist?
Well, I understand what Daniel's saying, but I went through like 4 different kinds of doctors before I finally got to the oncology part. And each one had their own opinion about what it might be, what it could be, until we got to the diagnosis. But I understand what you're saying, especially the word's incurable. That's the word that was used for me. We can treat it, but we can't cure it. It goes back to the mortality thing. Sooner or later,
right.
Life is incurable.
Christa, what are your impressions of the medical system now that you've been so forced through it?
Well, in all candor, I'm amazed. I'm amazed. Because there is a team. There's a team of people that look after me. And all the other people that they have to look after, and they keep us all straight. And I admire anybody in that field. I truly do. I mean, and I don't feel let down in the least. Truly, you know, if I get in a car accident tomorrow, I will have felt that they gave me my best opportunity. So I have nothing but good things to say about the medical field. And I also have nothing but good things to say about all the friends who think that prune pits placed in your armpits will cure cancer.
Did you make that one up? Or
I made that one up.
Okay. No, because we are getting
this at home.
We are getting a lot of tips from viewers here. Also, in the best intentions, have the panelists tried proton treatment? It works. You've heard of proton treatment?
I have.
Okay, but it mentions only on the mainland, and another caller says, we're the lack of doctors in Hawaii limiting your treatment options.
I don't think so.
Not at
I think I got great care. And there were some people who had said, go to the mainland, you should probably go to the mainland, and I didn't. And I feel like I had amazing care. And my medical doctors were in sync with my naturopaths. They respected that I was doing what I wanted to do, and they weren't, you know what I mean? Everybody was working together for one goal, which was me. And
one of the first things my doctor said was, if you think you want to go to the mainland, he said, by all means, we'll make sure that they have every single tiny bit of medical information if that's what you think you want to do. He did not discourage that in the least.
Now, another one was this idea of, I'm just going to make sure I get through all these. Here's another tip, use ginger candy for nausea. Did you guys all experience the nausea and all that stuff, or is it different?
See, I didn't. I'm sure, again, it goes back to everybody differently. Not one time did I get nauseous from the chemo.
We stayed away from sugar, though, so candy, no, but ginger, yes.
I did do ginger tea. The first round of chemo, which was cisplatin, which is a classic, really, really bad one. I had the worst nausea of my life. I would wake up and puke all day, and I made just ginger tea, which was just ginger, lemon, and hot water, and it helped a lot.
And then one other bit of advice, which I think you'd all agree on, is keep good records on yourself for the doctor. Nobody knows you like you do. Okay, so To change gear a little bit, I've got a couple of questions with people who are asking about spirituality and faith. And how did it affect you folks in that way? Let me start with you. Daniel, did the religion, faith have anything to do with how you coped, or did it change at all when you talked about death, thought about death?
No, I've always had this sort of ambiguous view on spirituality in general. I mean, I don't believe in God, but I also wouldn't consider myself an atheist because I'm open-minded to the possibility of there being something more. I hope there's something more than this, you know. But it's not something that I really thought about directly until I was faced with my death, and then I said, hey, well, it might be right over there, so I wonder what's going to happen after that. But I think I looked at it as more of a curiosity than anything else.
You didn't have any moments where you asked, well, God, why are you doing this to me? Did it almost drive you away from God, or as opposed to some people who are drawn to it in a circumstance?
No, neither. I never once affiliated my illness with any sort of higher power.
Okay, Christa, what about you? I think a lot of people expect that there's going to be a religious experience associated with the experience.
I never was very religious growing up, but I believed in God. I would say that I was spiritual. And then after this happened, there was just too much that was happening that I felt like it was a gift from God. And I mean, now more than ever, I'm very spiritual. I'm not really clear on what religion that I'm going to follow, but I believe in God, and I believe that we're all love, and that's what we're going to go back to. And it's just, that's our only job, is to just love each other and yourself.
You actually feel that this experience has been a blessing to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm really glad. I would be sad if it didn't happen.
Well, keep going with that.
That's a very healthy outlook.
I just feel like I was on the wrong path, and I just got yanked out of it. And it was, there was some things that I needed to understand. I needed to learn how to love myself. And I'm wondering why I'm 40 and still single. And it's like, well, you don't know how to love. So how can you, there's a lot of that I learned about myself since May. But that was a big one. Spirituality is a big one for me.
Now, both of these folks, actually, these are the older people in cancer than you. You only just started 4 or 5 months ago, or 2 or 3 months ago, and these folks have been going through this for a couple of years. But yourself, I mean, how did it affect you spiritually?
I don't think there was no blinding flash of light or anything like that, and I've always considered myself, as you, spiritual, not religious per se, but certainly believe in something after this. There's got to be something. So that there was no, oh, why me, or why is God picking on me? But it does kind of make you focus a little more on your day-to-day life. You're a little more careful with what you say to people. By careful, I mean you're not here to hurt anybody.
More thoughtful
anything, more mindful, yeah, for sure, about everything that you do day to day. But I mean, I still say the little prayer when I go to sleep, just, knock on wood.
The one you did since you were a little kid?
Yeah, with eyes open, I'm very grateful.
A real interesting comment on this point from a viewer. Our Christian background perhaps makes death a frightening experience, but near-death experiences have usually been good, positive ones. So don't fear death. How has that changed? I mean, are you guys afraid to die?
I don't think fear is the right word. I mean, at first, yes, but I wasn't terrified of the actual dying. I was more terrified of wait, this has to end at some point,
Yeah, I'm having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was scared of.
Yeah. What about you, Christa? Fear of death, is that something you dealt with? Did you have it before and not have it now? Or?
I'm not afraid to die. No, it's not like I'm looking forward to it, but I have faith that there's a plan. Just got to do what you can to just be the best person you can.
We get a lot of people who are setting encouraging notes about having faced their own illness. I think this program is bringing back a lot of really positive thoughts for a lot of people. Although one says, did any of you experience severe depression after this diagnosis? Another one, did any of the guests ever feel like giving up? Christa?
Yeah, of course.
You don't seem, your outlook seems so positive now.
Well, there was a lot of people who were paying attention to me, and you don't want them to see those bad days, or, why do that to somebody was my thought process. Whether it's right or wrong, that's how I felt. If there were days I wanted to give up, I'm not going to be telling too many people about that. If I had a good day, I'll be telling the world about it, though. But yeah, that definitely comes, and you just have to take that, like roll with the punches, because I don't know what else to say. It's there, and
Kirk,
it's hard.
What are your thoughts about that?
I didn't get depressed. I haven't been depressed. That's not to say I won't. But I think it has to do with the power of other people's good feelings. Now, I've always been somebody, I think it might have been Leslie Wilcox referred to me as a relentless optimist. And I've sort of adapted that as my guiding mantra. But I've not been depressed yet, but thanks to a lot of people around me. It may happen, but if it does, I'm going to have people goosing me saying, come on, let's go.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
Daniel, you brought up another good point about fundraisers. What is it about our system or the situation where so many people immediately when they get cancer, they have to have a fundraiser? What's going on there? Why are we in that? Why are people put in that position?
Well, for myself, I can't speak for everyone, but for myself, because I wanted to try alternative treatment methods, insurance doesn't cover those methods, and they get expensive really quick. You're looking at anywhere from $2,000, $3,000, up to $10,000 per week sometimes, depending on what you want to do and where you're going. And it's a double hit because, one, insurance doesn't cover it, and two, you're probably unable to work while you're sick. So it's a lot of money. That's where my fundraiser money went.
Did you know at the front end that was going to be true, and how quickly did you have to ramp up a fundraiser?
Well, we did a fundraiser right off the bat that was mostly going to be to cover my living expenses while I was unable to work. And then when I started working with the naturopath and I saw what those costs would be, I had a second fundraiser to help cover the cost of that. And there was a point where I was planning on going to the mainland and exploring some other options like proton therapy. I had medical records sent out to so many different cancer specialists all over the country, and my insurance is Obamacare Medicaid. It doesn't travel outside of the state, so I was going to have a fundraiser if I decided to go to the mainland. I ended up not going.
So you actually ended up being one of the people saved by Obamacare.
Oh yeah. If it wasn't for Obamacare, I would not be here.
Explain how that worked for you.
Okay.
In terms of you had no insurance when you were sick, got sick.
Right. I've been bartending and managing bars and stuff for years now, and it's a tip-based industry. You make money, it's cash. You put it in your pocket, you go home. Like, you don't think about insurance and life insurance, anything like that, health insurance, whatever. It's all kind of whatever. So when I started getting sick, I was like, I shouldn't go to the hospital because it's going to cost so much money, whatever. I ended up going, and the cool thing about Obamacare is that they insure you even if you have pre-existing symptoms. So I went in there, found out I had cancer, and then applied for insurance and was still able to get it, which is a miracle.
That's a new world, right?
Yeah.
Right. Christa, yourself, what kind of? We did get a caller asking a specific question. How has the panel dealt with the cost of treatment? How did you do it?
Well, it's true. You're not able to work. I have 3 jobs to live here, and I'm very happy to work. But when you're sick, you can't work as much. And I was really lucky to have, the company I work for has health insurance, but it's only covering 80% of the procedures, where if it's a $15,000 procedure, guess who's paying the other 20%? Right. So it was very costly, and it added up really fast. The scans are so expensive for the co-pays. The co-pays were so expensive, and it was really overwhelming because normally I would just take another gig to make that money, but I couldn't work. So I was getting really stressed out really fast, and I had to start a website to just start raising money, and that made me feel better.
No, that's so. You had insurance, the regular kind of insurance most workers have, and when you got this diagnosis, did somebody in the field or in the business say, you're going to need to start raising money, or is it just something that struck you later on your own? Did anybody help you with that thought process?
Somebody else helped me because I really was embarrassed to do that. I felt like, well, I have a job, I have insurance, I don't want to be one of those people but then I saw really quickly how much I was, I got maybe my first or second bill from the scan portion. And then the copay for the port catheter surgery, and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, no, I need help. And knowing that none of the natural treatments that I was going to be going through were covered, and just seeing that price tag, I was kind of shell shocked, I guess. And I realized nobody's above raising money for their own health, and people want to help you, they just don't know how. So people will you just have to trust that people will help you.
Kirk, you're an optimist and everything, but you're a proud guy. What was it like to have people throw a fundraiser for you?
Back in December, it was an amazing experience. And in fact, when I do finally kick the bucket, or whatever one of those terms you want to use, we're not going to have anything. That was it.
Oh,
that was great.
It
was great to have so many wonderful friends gather, help out financially, because both Lynn and I are retired, and the bills are still coming in since this is all relatively ongoing. We don't know what the final sum's going to be. But you're right. The pride thing did come up at one point, and I thought, these people are doing this because they like you, or they love you, or they care about you, or they care about Lynn, or they care about both of you. Just stand to one side, let this go on, and let them experience the gift part.
It was something they needed to do too, right? They needed to feel like they were doing something.
Maybe that's one way to look at it. I think that it's kind of selfish to look at it that way, but you may be right. It could be. But in any event,
well, they also say that I don't, maybe this is not the right thing to say in this panel, but they say that funerals are for the living.
Yeah, I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be there.
Yeah. So here's a really interesting concept, because I've heard a lot of discussion about this recently, because when you're diagnosed and there's the survivor spirit and there's the battle and you got to fight. And so someone's asking, please talk about the concept of fighting cancer versus just living out your life. Daniel, I mean, does the idea that you're supposed to be fighting all the time, is that really realistic, or is that a helpful thing for people to say, oh, keep up the fight?
I think so, because for me, it was never an option to give up. It never crossed my mind. I immediately said, the doctors came up to me and said, oh, you're looking at maybe 3 or 4 months on the upside if you're lucky. And I said, no way, hell no. So immediately I was on the defense and I started the fight. And so for me, when people say that, I get random Facebook messages, keep up the good fight, man. Like little things like that are really encouraging.
Christa, as a woman, is it different, do you think, that whole fighting spirit thing? Is that a man thing, or does that also work for women?
Well, I'm kind of on both sides, because I think about the people that we've lost, and, I would never call it a fight, because that, if they just didn't fight hard enough, or
are they losers because they didn't win?
Yeah. So for me, and people, that's just what they love to say, and you just say, oh yeah, it's good. But I never really could identify with that, and it was definitely a struggle, and I felt like I wouldn't say I was fighting more than I was just doing this.
Doing one day, one day and then
surviving. Yeah.
Kirk, you have thoughts
So
about
I think
that?
fight is a good word. I mean, that's everybody. All of us in our own way fight it, and Christy hit on a good point. When somebody passes away, for whatever reason, it wasn't because they weren't fighting. It might not have been the way we would have done it, but nobody wants to say goodbye, and except that fly.
He's persistent.
But fight is what you do. When you wake up in the morning and make those muscles move and everything, you're fighting.
Those days when you wake up and it is a fight just to get out of bed.
Sure, some days.
Another question that I had, and this is kind of based on experiences that I've been through, is that are people overly preoccupied with what caused your cancer? Do they want to know? And do you ever get people feel like you're being judged for some past behavior that must have caused it? Christa?
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up, because that's very recently been happening. And I paid extra money to get the whole genetic test and know 100% that I have no idea what happened. There's a few different theories, but you know what? I have it. And I was somebody who exercised regularly and thought that I was eating healthy and thought that I was living a pretty decent life, and then look what happened. So it's really hard to say what could cause it or think about it.
Do you think sometimes when people want to know what caused it, it's because they want to be able to tell themselves they're not going to get it?
Maybe.
And how's that for a general denial in the community?
Yeah.
You think that might be true?
No, there's part of that in there. That's the old, yeah, sure.
Well, people want to
You
understand,
did?
right?
Oh, well, then that's not going to happen. You drove 100 miles an hour in the wrong way?
You
well.
smoke cigarettes? Oh, phew.
Oh, yeah.
Matt, Daniel, I knew I was going to call you Matt at one point today. Daniel,
I'll be Matt for you.
Yeah, no, it's okay. What is it that you think about that? Do people say, oh, what gave you brain cancer?
Yeah, they do. And it's funny because I think that a lot of the reason they do is because they're saying, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing something that he's been doing, because everyone's terrified of cancer, obviously. But the funny thing about that is people are so easy to point the fingers at some behavior or some habit or some whatever you did. You know, like for example, you know, lung cancer doesn't have a fancy color like breast cancer has a pink ribbons and everything, because everybody who has lung cancer say it's your fault for smoking or whatever. And I'll tell you, I went to chemo 4 times. I've been in and out of the hospital for 2.5 years, and I met a lot of people with lung cancer who have never touched a cigarette in their life. So what it comes down to is this, and cancer is one of those things that is just unexplainable. There might be little ties to this, a little ties to that, but they really have no idea what exactly causes it, where you get it from, and why you get it. That's just the fact.
Kirk, have you heard that whole thing about the prevention message? And you know, there's so many messages in this society about do this and it will help you prevent. Do this, it will help you prevent. Which sort of switches back and says, if you don't do it, something could happen to you. Do you think that's appropriate kind of messaging that's out there?
Oh, there's so many mixed messages. I understand what you're getting at. And the reason we're here is not to give anybody a message about how to live your life. What we're sending out is that count on every day, smile when you get the chance, and take care of the people around you. And, you know, I could tell people all kinds of terrible things that I've done in the past. Oh, I know what it was. I lied to my 7th grade biology teacher.
You did? Let me go back to something that a couple of viewers are asking us to come back to, and it's about naturopathic treatments. Now, you two have both mentioned naturopaths as being part of your treatment program, but you know, have the treatments helped? I think you've said they have, but you also never gave up the Western medicine people were offering you too, right? So what's your thoughts about that when people are thinking, oh, maybe naturopathic is better for me?
Well, I don't think anybody should try just one or the other. I think they complement each other really nicely. And there's a particular treatment that Daniel and I are both doing weekly still, the high-dose vitamin C IV, which is just like getting chemo, only it's natural. And it does 2 things. It kills the cancer cells, but it also reduces those side effects of chemo, so it just makes it more tolerable. You can, you know, you don't get that like metallic taste in your mouth. And I was pretty healthy through most of it. And you're pretty healthy right now. You're going through chemo right now.
You guys look great. I mean, I'm very impressed. Now, we've got about 3 minutes left, and I wanted to make sure that each of you has an opportunity to talk about what you really think people should be taking away from this. Christa, in particular, we have someone who's asking you, you know, your effort to put together a one-stop shop to get information on various resources. How can I get in touch with that organization? Why don't you explain that and then tell us again what it is you want people to take away from you being on this show tonight?
They can search Aloha Cancer Project on Facebook. We're just starting out, but we're going to be populating that quite often. And that would be the takeaway, is just I'm dedicating my life to helping people, because I don't want anybody to have to go through this. It's the scariest thing when you're told that. I just want to snap them out of that part and get to the good part, which is like, this was a blessing. There's a reason why. Thank you.
Daniel, what about you? What do you want people to take away from this? And I did have one caller ask, what advice do you have for people who are fine?
Who are fine?
Yeah.
Well, that's the cool thing about the Aloha Cancer Project is it's not just a one-stop shop for cancer. It's a lot broader than that. It's about living healthy, eating healthy, keeping a healthy lifestyle, from all angles. So even for people that are either one, suffering from another disease besides cancer, or two, that are perfectly healthy that want to kick it up a notch, you know, like there's so many things out there that we've learned over the past couple of years that can help people in general.
I know, I think this is totally inappropriate to say to someone who has cancer, but Kirk, you've got 30 seconds.
Typical. The reason that we all agreed to come here tonight was because we all either know somebody, have a family member. I mean, cancer is so common. I'm so glad that you folks decided to do something like this. Back when John Wayne got it, they didn't call it cancer, it was called the Big C. And now we can at least talk about it and talk to people and make sure that they understand there's lots of different approaches. Find the one that works for you and keep smiling.
And we had somebody call in and say, could you please say the fundraiser websites of these lovely people so we can donate? Or if that's not kosher, just be sure and say their full names again. Imagine if they Google any of your names, they'll get it.
Yeah.
So Kirk Matthews.
Right.
Daniel Gray.
There you go.
But make sure I said Christa Wittmier, and of course Jimmy Borges in absentia tonight, watching us. Thanks, Jimmy, and thank you all three so much. It's been a great conversation, and so we have to say goodnight now. Thanks very much. Next week, we'll be continue our series on facing our mortality by talking with those who have been the primary caregivers to tonight's guests. What does it mean to partner with a loved one through this sometimes very difficult journey? That's next time on Insights on PBS Hawaii. I'm Daryl Huff. Ahui ho.